This morning we're going to do a little, hopefully it'll be 3 little meditations, but we'll see how we go with time. So we're doing this tongle, which is Tibetan for giving and taking. And some of you may have already done this practice with either your precious Geshe-la Sherab or with Venerable Rabina or Gendon. I don't know, but it's a very sweet meditation. And we're going to do simple version because the full version's a little intense. And it's just a meditation for developing love and compassion. And it's from a series of teachings known as thought transformation, mind training. So Lamzo Rinpoche says we should learn to love problems the same way we love ice cream. So we're going to try and learn to love our problems this morning. See how we go. Okay. And it's a sort of a way we're trying to sort of get into our self-cherishing a little bit. So let's just settle into our meditation posture before we start. And check your legs, feet flat on the floor, legs crossed, either in the full vajra or just comfortably. Don't do anything that hurts. You can raise your coccyx slightly, lengthen the spine. Just imagine there's somebody above the crown of our head is just very gently lengthening this string of light, these pearls of light. Head slightly tipped forward, eyes down, tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Hands in the meditation mudra, thumbs touching. And just go to the crown of the head and relax the scalp and the forehead, and the back of the eyes, the temples, the cheeks, the nose, the mouth. Relax your jaw, your ears. And go to the back of the head and relax the scalp, the shoulders, chest, and the arms and the hands and the fingers, legs and feet and toes. Make sure your shoulders are over your hips. Sort of, we just want to be nicely aligned. It sort of allows all the energy to flow a little bit more easily. And if you are sitting on a couch or a chair and you don't have a back problem, if you can try and sit a little bit away from it so you're not leaning into a nice comfortable couch, because you might want to go back to sleep. I just think we're going to do this meditation this morning to try and address our self-cherishing, develop our compassion on a very gradual, step-by-step path to enlightenment, so we can be a benefit to others. So when we have problems, we don't like them terribly much, and we try to do whatever we can to get rid of them. So the problems that arise in our life are not necessarily problematic from their own side. It's just, it really is the way we view them, how we deal with them. For some people, problems can be an opportunity for change. So with the right mindset, we can use our problems to help us to develop our mind. So bring mind to the breath. Just notice the sensation of the air, cool air flowing in through the nostrils and slightly warmer air flowing out. So even the idea of mentioning the word problem, something may have popped up in your mind. Just allow it to be there. Try not to follow the story. Just focus on your breath. Just breathing in and breathing out. So the idea of tongle is we're wishing for others to be happy and to be free from suffering. And in this meditation, we imagine we're taking on suffering and giving happiness. Some people have this naturally. If you think of the first responders, this kind of courageous attitude, very often parents. All the nurses and doctors right now managing all this kind of COVID all over the world. Some amazing, amazing, amazing heroes taking care of others. And all of us can generate this courageous mind by familiarizing ourselves with these meditations on love and compassion. So we're not actually focusing on the feeling of me taking on the suffering and me giving away my happiness. The focus is more about others. So other people becoming free from their suffering and other people receiving happiness. Because there's not actually, until we're completely enlightened, I don't think it's possible that we take on someone else's suffering. So we're just training our mind here in love and compassion and bodhicitta, trying to create the causes to become enlightened. Okay. So because it's kind of a little bit intense to start with imagining taking on someone's problem, so we'll start with something that is currently troubling you. And maybe don't start with a big problem, start with something that's little. Maybe you had a headache. Maybe you have a headache, or you haven't been able to have your coffee yet, or something, small to medium-sized problem. Don't take your biggest problem. Could be a little bit of pain you're experiencing, or some physical problem. A little bit of sadness, something like that. So start by thinking, and also just allow this a problem to arise in the mind and notice how we immediately try to push it away. We don't want it, we're trying to run away from it. So now think, maybe I'm not the only person in the world who has this problem. Perhaps there are others who have a problem like this too. Just think for a moment other people who might have a similar problem to this. And try and think, generate some compassion for people who have a similar problem to us. And think how wonderful it would be if all these people could be free from their suffering. So then we decide that we will take on our own problem, our own experience of our problem, with a compassionate wish that by doing so, all those other people will be free from their suffering. So try and let go to our resistance and fear and aversion about our problem. Let's just try and allow our mind to rest in our acceptance of it. It's not saying that we shouldn't try and do something about it if we can. And that's a different real world kind of thing. We need to take care of some things. But for the purpose of this meditation, just allow our minds to accept our problem. And keep the mind on the breath. Now we're going to practice tonglen for another person's problem. So imagine in front of us someone that we know and we love, and perhaps they have a problem. Maybe they're suffering physical illness or some issue. So put yourself in their shoes for a moment and try to really feel the suffering that they're experiencing, and try and get a sense of how they wish to be free from that suffering, the same way that we wish to be free from our problem. And feel how wonderful it would be if they could be free from all their suffering and their problems. And so now we think, I will generate the courage to take their suffering upon myself. So what we do here is we visualize our delusions, such as jealousy, self-cherishing, our anger, our attachment, our grasping, disappointment, all these kinds of things that we have as a result of our deluded mind. And we imagine these are in the form of a solid, dark rock. This is in our heart. So now we imagine our loved ones suffering in the form of thick, dark smoke. It floats out of their body. And as we inhale, imagine this dark smoke of suffering coming into us. And as it comes to our heart, it absorbs into the rock of our self-centered delusions and smashes it completely. So both the rock and the suffering, our own suffering and that of the other person, completely disappear, completely smashed. So now feel a sense of joy that this person is now free from their suffering and their problems. And when we exhale, we breathe out our happiness, our positive qualities, all our merit, in the form of bright light, blissful, radiant, bright light. And imagine that it transforms into whatever will bring joy and peace of mind to this person health, wealth, their problems sorted out, happiness, love, friendship, material things. Courage, equanimity. And imagine that their needs and wishes are completely fulfilled and that they are at peace. So just for a moment, just rest your mind in this place, knowing that your loved one is completely free from suffering and now happy. At the same time, notice that all our self-cherishing has been smashed. That rock of self-cherishing that was at our heart is now gone. And we feel lighter. So now we do a little tongle meditation that often Venerable Robina does in her teachings. It's quite sweet. So imagine you're walking down the street, parked your car somewhere, and you're out in the mall, as everyone refers to them here in the US. And you come across a person. It appears that they're unhoused, as they call it here in California. And they're kind of dirty, and they're cold, and they look pretty miserable, and they might be sitting on a piece of cardboard with their very few possessions around them, which are also not very clean. Maybe this person smells. Or maybe they've been drinking. And try to get a real sense of this person's presence. There may be someone that you know like this that you pass every day. Maybe wandering around in your area. So imagine you're up to this person. You give them your keys to your car, keys to your house, code to your computer, your credit cards, access to your bank account. You take off your clothes, give them to this person, and you put their clothes on. And you tell them where your car is parked. And they've got your nice clothes on and your nice shoes. They're starting to look happy. And you sit down on their piece of cardboard with their few things around you. And you feel happy. We feel happy. We've been able to make this person happy, and then you see them go off, delighted, happy with their new life. And we feel delighted and joyful that we've been able to help someone. If we actually think about really doing this, it's kind of intense. It's an interesting way to look at this particular practice. So now I think we have time to do this body of light meditation that we did a few weeks ago. So just bring to the crown of the head, imagine that above the crown of our head, a sphere of white light, a little bit smaller than the crown of our head. It's pure, transparent, non-material. And try and really get a sense of this white light above the crown of our head. Brilliant, blissful. And if you're not really a visualizer, just feel its presence. It's enough to know it's there. So this light represents all of the universal love, wisdom and compassion, and joy. It's the fulfillment of your own highest potential. Now visualize it decreasing in size till it's about 1 inch in diameter, and dissolves in through the crown of our head and to our heart chakra. From there it begins to expand once more, slowly spreading, filling our entire body. As it does, all the solid parts of our body dissolve into light. All our bones, the blood, the tiny cells, the nerves, tendons, muscles, all of our organs. They all become pure, translucent, white light. And concentrate on the experience of your body as a body of light. And think that all our problems and negativities and hindrances, all our obstacles, all our sadness and depression, anxiety, all our jealousy, all our delusions, completely vanished. Imagine you've reached a place of wholeness and perfection. Should any thought or distracting object appear in your mind, you can just dissolve this into white light. And bring the mind back to the breath. So now we can dedicate the meditation that we've done this morning to the person that we visualized in our tongue meditation, that they may be free from suffering, receive all their happiness, everything that they need, and dedicate it also to anyone else you know who may have passed away recently, even a long time ago. Dedicate for our own future happiness so we can become enlightened, so we can be of benefit to others. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone.